Hello everyone, welcome to IS Baba's 60 Days Rapid Revision Series for Prelims 2022. This is Day 36 and we take up environment and ecology. So these are the topics we are going to discuss. It includes the wildlife and the various schemes for protecting the flora and fauna. So before going to that, we have some clarifications. So here while discussing the ocean currents, so I had said that in the northern hemisphere, the ocean currents will rotate anti-clockwise. So actually they rotate the clockwise direction, so as the figure shows. And here that formula, that north anti or the 90 which we spoke, so that will not apply to the ocean currents, it applies to the cyclones. So here in the cyclones, the tropical cyclones, so they rotate in the anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and in the clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. Then come to next regarding the 4G and 5G. So here I had said 5G will consume less power compared to 4G. And here there are the two ways of analysis. So ideally speaking, so the 5G is faster, so therefore it is having a less latency time, and due to the less latency time, 5G consumes less power. Then generally speaking, so 5G is faster and it can allow more applications at a time. So when we run more and more applications, so there 5G consumes more power. So ideally speaking, 5G consumes less power. Generally speaking, it consumes more power. So these we have to analyze, and only if you understand the reason, so that is more than sufficient. Then come to next, the GI tag. So here within India, so the Kalanamak rice was given the GI tag for Uttar Pradesh in 2013. But however, the WTO's global GI tag is not being given, and Nepal has been the more stronger contestant than India because it has been increasing the area of cultivation for the Kalanamak rice. So here that is why, remember, within India, UP, and in the global, so who gets, we will update. So even the UPCM, so he is also pushing for the global GI tag. So that is also in news. So these are worth remembering. And in India, we have the Geographical Indications Act. So that will give the GI tag in India. Then come to next, the Periplus of Erythraean Sea. So here we had discussed that it was in 50th century AD, not the 15th century AD as such. Then the Chalukyas. So Chalukyas, they belong to Badami, and Badami is also called as Vatapi. So Badami, Vatapi. So these are the names of the same capital, that is Badami, and the dynasty name is Chalukyas. And here Menander, it is the name of the person who wrote Milind Panho and not the meander. So these are some of the clarifications. Then come to next, the introduction of cheetah in India. So here the action plan for the introduction of cheetah in India was released by the Environment Ministry in the 19th meeting of the NTCA. So remember, NTCA is taking up the responsibility to bring these cheetahs. Then under the action plan, 50 cheetahs will be introduced in India in the next 5 years. And then around 12 to 14 cheetahs will be imported from South Africa or Namibia. And each of these cheetahs will be fitted with a satellite GPS, and they will be transported to Kuno Palpur National Park in Madhya Pradesh. So mark this, Kuno Palpur, and this was asked twice in UPSC. So there are some sets of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries which UPSC asks repeatedly. So that is why we make sure that we will revise them, and hence the previous year's analysis. So that is very much important. So some set of rivers, some set of national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and some geographical areas. So these are being the hotspots of UPSC. So if you track them, so our study becomes easier. Then come to next about cheetahs. So the scientific name is Echinonyx jubatus, and they are a large cat native to Africa and central Iran. So they are also native to central Iran, and they are fastest land animal with a running speed 80 to 128 km per hour. And they occur in a variety of habitats like the savannas in Serengeti. So Serengeti National Park, it is also a famous one. Then hilly district terrain in Iran and the mountain ranges in Sahara Desert. Then they have been listed as vulnerable in the IUCN. So mark, they are vulnerable in IUCN Red List. Then One Ocean Summit. So recently Prime Minister addressed the highest level segment of the One Ocean Summit. So the summit was organized by France in cooperation with the United Nations and the World Bank. So mark, United Nations and World Bank, they are the stakeholders. Then the goal of One Ocean Summit is to raise the collective level of the ambition of international community on marine issues. So how to improve the marine water, how to curb the marine pollution. So all these are being discussed, and the commitments will be made towards combating illegal fishing, then decarbonizing the shipping industry. That means reducing the carbon footprint in that industry, and then reducing plastic pollution. Then we also focus on efforts to improve governance of the high seas and coordinating international scientific research. So this is a common statement. We need not pay much attention here. Then India supports the French initiative of High Ambition Coalition on Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction, or the BBNJ Treaty. So mark this BBNJ Treaty. So it is an initiative of France, and it is also known as the Treaty of High Seas. So mark this also. And it is an international agreement on the conservation and sustainable use of marine biodiversity, and it is under the UN Convention of Law of Seas. So UN clause. So that is running this Treaty of High Seas. And then India will be happy to join the France in launching the global initiative of the single-use plastics. So these single-use plastics. So that is also news, and India is having a consent to join all these. And recently Ministry of Environment, so that has notified the plastic waste management rules 2021. So a new amendment rules has been notified. And India has also directed its Navy to contribute 100 ship days this year to clean plastic waste from the seas. So these are some of the good initiatives. So here the points to be remembered for prelims: One Ocean Summit, and then the Treaty of High Seas, then UN clause, and also the stakeholders, the World Bank and United Nations, who are the partners of this One Ocean Summit. Then come to next, Crytodactylus Exercitus. So here a team of herpetologists, that is the people who study on the reptiles, so they have recorded a new species of bent toed gecko. So here it is the gecko, and this has the toed which are bent. So that's why the name bent toed gecko. And that is from a wooded part of Umroi military station in Meghalaya. So they have been discovered in Meghalaya. Then some of the key takeaways: its scientific name is Crytodactylus Exercitus, and the English name is the Indian Army's bent-toed gecko. So here we can see the Indian Army's uniform of its skin color. Then the paper recorded another new bent-toed gecko, that is the Crytodactylus Exercitus. So it is named after Mizoram's Siaha district where it was found. So remember the Exercitus from Siaha, Mizoram, and then the Meghalaya's Umroi, and here the Exercitus. So these are the facts regarding this bent-toed gecko. Then come to next. India is now home to 40 species of bent-toed gecko, with the northeast accounting for 16 of them. And this Crytodactylus is a diverse genus of Asian geckos commonly known as the bent-toed geckos, or the bow-fingered geckos, and the forest geckos. So these are the various genuses. Then the genus has at least 300 described species as of 2020, so which makes it the largest of all gecko genera. So here mark this, the largest of all geckos, that is the Crytodactylus. Then come to next, the possibly extinct species. So friends, IUCN recently it has included the possibly extinct species and then the probably extinct species. So such new designations. So under this possibly extinct, so some animal and plant species, so they were included. So here the latest edition of the red list was released recently, and in that, so here the coconut crab, the largest terrestrial arthropoda, so that was included as the possibly extinct species. And apart from that, so bovine barb, so barb means it is a fish, friends, and it is native to Kaveri river system. So Kaveri river basin and the Kaveri waters has this. Then another fish, Diolali minnow, and the Deccan barb, and the Nilgiri mistus. So all these have been found in Deccan. And then the list also includes the pink-headed duck. So earlier pink-headed duck was in extinct category, and now it has become the possibly extinct one. And then the Siberian crane that once famously drew crowds to Kyolodio Ghana National Park. So that is also included in this list. And then buffy fish owl, or the Malayan owl. So here the owl of Malayan Peninsula is also included. Then the tentacled butterfly ray. So it is not butterfly, it is the ray. So we have seen the stingray and others. So this is one kind of ray. And then the dwarf sawfish. So they are feared to be possibly extinct. Then the Millepara boschmai, or the fire corals, is also possibly extinct. So friends, I have brought some of the pictures of these, and for others, so this is an assignment. So go to the Google images and search for these pictures. So that will act as hints for you in the prelims exam. And here we have the coconut crab, and then we have the Diolali minnow here, and then some of the plant species. So here we have the plant's names first. So this Corypha telera, so it is a species of palm. So here we have this Corypha telera as possibly extinct species. Then Eriocolum minutum, so it is a species of pipewort. So the liverwort, pipewort, so all these. So these are similar plant species. Then Ilex gardneria, so this is also found in Nilgiris. So mark it as important. Then Vochelia bole, a coastal stenoendemic legume of southern India. So here we have this Vochella bole. Then Euphorbia mayur nathani, so that is endemic to the Palghat Gap. So Palghat again the Western Ghats. So here which are all are endemic to India. So these are being given. So here which are all are present or which are endemic to India. So these are being given. So just see the pictures of them and also remember the names. Then come to next Sitana Dharwarensis and the Caracal. So here first the Sitana Dharwarensis. So it is the new species of the fan-throated lizard discovered from northern Karnataka, and it is derived from the Dharwar Creton, so Dharwar old rocks, so that gives its name. And here we can see Sitana Dharwarensis, so that means the fan throat. The throat is having a fan-like structure for this. So this lizard, it belongs to Agamidae family and it is found in Nepal, India, Sri Lanka and Pakistan. And here this Sitana, they are small to medium-sized lizards and they are ground dwellers and primarily eating insects, but they also eat molluscans and the plant seeds. Then come to next the Caracal. So this is the Caracal, a wild cat. So here the National Board for Wildlife and the Ministry of Environment included this Caracal in the list of critically endangered species under the Species Recovery Program. So mark this Species Recovery Program of this NBWL and Ministry of Environment. Then the IUCN status of this Caracal. So it is least concerned. And then the wildcat has long ears and the distinctive ones. So here the long and pointy with tufts on the black hairs at their tips. So here we can see how their long ears has been inducted with the tuft hairs like this. So a very attractive one. And then it is a medium-sized wildcat found in parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat. So mark these, their habitats as important. Then the iconic ears give the animal its name, that is the Caracal. So in Turkish, this Caracal means Karakulak or the black ears. And in India, it is called Siya Ghosh. So Siya Ghosh means it is a Persian name for black ear. Then while it flourishes in parts of Africa, its numbers in Asia are declining. So in India, their numbers are declining. Before going to next, we take a picture memory of this animal. Then All India Elephant and Tiger Population Estimation Exercise. So here from December, India will move to a system that will count tigers and elephants as a part of common survey. Then the announcement was made on the World Elephant Day, and the tiger survey is usually held once in 4 years and the elephants are counted once in 5 years. So mark these two facts as important. Then since 2006, the Wildlife Institute of India has a standardized protocol in place which is used by states to estimate the tiger numbers. And based on the sightings in camera traps, then indirect estimation methods and various others, the tigers are numbered and computed. So here we mark that Yum stripes as the one technique which is useful for this tiger census. But however, elephant numbers largely rely on the states directly counting the number of elephants. So the states, they directly head count the elephants. And then in recent years, techniques such as analyzing the dung samples have also been deployed to estimate the birth rates and the population trends in the elephants. So here, remember the dung samples and the 4 and 5 years. Then come to next, the National Dolphin Research Center. So after the monsoon, the work on the India's first Dolphin Research Center will begin in Patna. And here, more facts about it. The NDRC is a big step for conservation of the endangered Gangetic river dolphin. So that is Gangetica major. And it is coming up on the premises of Patna University. And Bihar is home to around half of the country's estimated 3,000 dolphin population. So mark this half. So this is not a skewed statistic. It is factually correct. Then the Project Dolphin is one of the operations planned under the Earth Ganga approved in 2019. So mark Earth Ganga as important. And we also know that Vikramshila Gangetic Dolphin Sanctuary, so that is also located here. So Bihar, it is one of the hotspots for these Gangetic dolphins. So these are some of the facts. Then come to next, the red sanders. So here the species Pterocarpus santalinus is an Indian endemic tree to the Eastern Ghats. And here red sanders usually grow in the rocky, degraded and fallow lands with red soil and hot and dry climate. So basically in the Eastern Ghats, they grow. So these are belonging to the tropical dry deciduous forests. So mark that. Then the IUCN status is endangered, and in the sites it is marked as Appendix 2, and in the Wildlife Protection Act it is given the Schedule 2. So even the famous movie was done on this. So that is why all these facts will become important, and even movies are being coming carrying the name of this wood. Then come to next, the sandalwood spike disease. So it is an infectious disease which is caused by phytoplasma. So what are phytoplasmas? So they are bacterial parasites of the plant tissues which are transmitted by insect vectors and involved in plant-to-plant transmission. And there is no cure as of now for the infection of this phytoplasma, and presently there is no option but to cut down and remove the infected tree to prevent the spread of this disease. So again, a very dangerous disease if there is no treatment for these. Then come to next, Mahseer. So recently IUCN has moved this blue-finned Mahseer from endangered to least concern status on the red list. And so that means the number of these Mahseer has been increasing, and the Mahseer belongs to the genus Thor, of which there are several subspecies found in India and South Asia. And the blue-finned Mahseer or the Thor kudri is one of the subspecies of Mahseer. So here we can see the bluish coloration of its fin. So that's why the name blue-finned Mahseer. Then it is mainly found in Motamola River, that is east of Pune, and also other rivers of Deccan Plateau. So mark this Motamola River. Then the species is migratory, moving upstreams during the rains, and it prefers clean, fast flowing and well oxygenated waters. And it is very sensitive to dissolved oxygen levels, water temperature and sudden climatic changes. So it cannot bear pollution. So any small change in any of these conditions, so there will be a sudden decrease in the Mahseer species. And this species has now been changed from endangered to least concerned. Then come to next, the Asian waterbird census. So a 2-day Asian waterbird census 2020 has commenced in Andhra Pradesh. So it was long back and under the aegis of Bombay Natural History Society. So this BNHS was asked in UPSC 2 times. So that is why this Asian waterbird census also becomes important. And then the Asian waterbird census is an integral part of the global waterbird monitoring program of the International Waterbird Census, coordinated by the Wetlands International. So mark this IWC and the Wetlands International as important. Then the IWC is a monitoring program operating in 143 countries to collect information on the number of water birds at the wetland sites. And the Wetlands International is a global not-for-profit organization. So IWC, it is a monitoring program, and Wetlands International is a organization. So these are some of the facts for the Asian waterbird census. Then the Western Hoolock gibbons. So here the tailless Hoolock gibbon is the only ape found in India. So here we can see how the gibbon looks, and the primate is native to the eastern Bangladesh, northeast India and southwest China. Then the Hoolock gibbon is categorized in 2 types. One is the Western Hoolock gibbon and the other is the Eastern Hoolock gibbon. So Western, it inhabits all the states of the northeast, restricted between the south of Brahmaputra and the east of Dibang River. So in the western part of northeast, these Western Hoolock gibbons are famous. So mark my words, the western part of northeast region. And outside India, it is found in eastern Bangladesh, northwest Myanmar, etc. And it is listed as endangered species here. And then come to next, the Eastern Hoolock gibbons. So it inhabits specific pockets of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam, and in the southern parts of China and Myanmar. So here it is like the eastern part of northeast India, and it is listed as vulnerable. And in India, both the species are listed on the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So here a brief description on the various apes and the primates. So friends, primates usually they don't have tail. So here we discuss. So we know that man has been evolved from the monkeys. So here we have the macaques. So from these the evolution started. After macaques, langurs came. So here we can see the langur's mouth. So that is not so big, and also the size has been increased. So these monkeys are smaller compared to these langurs. So here we can see the langur. And in India we have the capped langur and the golden langur and others. And after that we get the gibbons. So gibbons, they usually don't have the tails, and those which don't have tails, so they belong to primates mostly. And here we can see the gibbon. And after gibbon, the evolution continues, and then we get the chimpanzees. So chimpanzees, so they are mostly habituated for the vertical life. That means they walk in 2 legs mostly. And after that we get the gorillas. So here gorillas, so they are characterized again by the gigantic body, and then we have a macrocephaly here. So that means a bumped head. So that is the characteristic of these gorillas. So these are some of the differentiations, and then come to next, the blackbuck. So here the Indian blackbuck, that is the Antelope cervicapra. So it is an antelope and is the only living species of the genus antelope. So here I think we have discussed about the blackbuck. So it is in the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act, and then the least considered in IUCN, and then it is the second fastest running animal after cheetah and the Bishnoi communities. So they are protecting the blackbuck and the chinkara. So here our point of discussion is the difference between the chinkara and the blackbuck. So here we can see the two difference. This is chinkara, that is called the Indian gazelle, and this is called the blackbuck. So this is the antelope and this is the gazelle. So what is the difference? So friends, here we have the taxonomy of blackbuck. So here the Animalia chordata mammalia and Artiodactyla bovidae. So all these are same, and then subfamily differs. So that means the Antilopinae and then Antilopini and antelope. So here is how the differentiation takes place. So here also for gazelle, till Antilopini it is same. So only the genus, that is Gazella. So here only the genus, that is the antelope. So this is for the blackbuck, and Gazella genus, it is for the chinkara. So remember these differences. And apart from that, coming to the physiological changes, so we know that blackbuck, so they have the blackish plumes, and also their horns are curved compared to the gazelles whose horns are straight. Then come to next, the clouded leopard. So recently a study conducted in 9 countries suggested that only 9.44% of studied region was highly suitable for this clouded leopard. So that is Neophelis nebulosa. And in India, the Dampa Tiger Reserve in Mizoram was chosen as the study site, and Dampa had one of the highest population densities of the clouded leopards amongst the sites surveyed. So here we can take the look of a clouded leopard. Then more facts. The clouded leopard, named after the cloud-shaped pattern on its skin, and it is listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. And it is the state animal of Meghalaya. So mark, Dampa is in Mizoram and it is the state animal of Meghalaya. Then it has been added to India's recovery program for critically endangered species to aid more research and strengthen the conservation efforts. So mark this recovery program for critically endangered species as important. Then clouded leopard prefers grasslands, shrubs, subtropical and dense tropical forests at a height of 7,000 feet, occurring from the Himalayan foothills through mainland Southeast Asia into China. So mainly in those Himalayan belts and the Northeast Himalayas, this is found. And in India, it occurs in Sikkim and northern West Bengal, then Meghalaya, then Tripura, Mizoram and other states. So this is all about the clouded leopard. Then Adjutant storks. So recently Bihar has decided to tag greater adjutant storks, locally known as Garuda, with the GPS trackers. And here the scientific name Leptoptilus dubius. And the greater adjutant is a member of the stork family Ciconidae. And there are about 20 species in the family, and they are the long-necked large birds. So here we need to remember the local name and also the scientific name. So that is more than sufficient. And then once found across South and Southeast Asia, the greater adjutant is one of the most threatened stork species in the world, and there are only 3 known breeding grounds. So one is in Cambodia and 2 are in India, that is Assam and Bihar. So mark Assam and Bihar as important ones. And then the IUCN endangered and the wildlife protection status, that is the Schedule 4. So these are some of the facts for adjutant stork. Then the brood X cicadas. So here the swarms of these brood X cicadas insects have been spotted in a number of American states. And here these swarms are a part of a group named brood X based on their life cycles and the periodic appearances. So cicadas, they live underground for an extended period of typically 13 to 17 years, and it feeds on the roots of trees both underground and above it. So this is how this brood X cicadas looks like. So an insect. So here the underground cicada nymphs, they go through 5 stages of development, and once they become adults, which takes about 17 years from the periodical cicadas, the male emerge from the underground. And after the male emerge, so then the females also emerge, and then these males, they make some squeaky sound, and after that the females will respond and the mating occurs. And once the mating is over, so the eggs So they are being laid on the twigs, and after that the twigs will fall down, and once these eggs are hatched, so the baby insects, they will go underground and they will stay there for 17 years. And once they are adult and once their instinct to mate begins, so they will come back. So throughout the life they live underground and only for mating they will come out. So this is how the life cycle of this brood X cicadas grows. Then come to next, Neelakurinji. So here experts fear that for next season the Neelakurinji blossoms may not carpet the hillocks of the Western Ghats. So that means Neelakurinji may not blossom this time. And Kurinji or Neelakurinji is a shrub that is found in Shola forests of Western Ghats in South India. And here we can see the beautiful pictures of this Neelakurinji. And then more facts, these Nilgiri hills, which literally mean the blue mountains, got their names from these shrubs, and they will blossom only once in 12 years. And some Kurinji flowers bloom once every 7 years and then they die, and their seeds subsequently sprout and continue the cycle. So only once they will blossom and die off. Then the Paliyan tribal people living in Tamil Nadu used it as a reference to calculate their age. So remember this Paliyan tribes. And then come to next, the Agarwood. So the government of Tripura has taken initiatives to promote commercial cultivation of agar trees. So here we can see the typical agar trees. Then Tripura Agarwood Policy 2021 aims to double agarwood plantation by 2025. Then agarwood, a tree species native to northeast India, and apart from India, agar trees, so they are being present in the Papua New Guinea also. Then resinous agarwood is formed due to stress-induced resin on the Aquilaria trees. So again, so this agarwood is a very fragrant wood, and where the fragrance comes from, so that comes from the resins, and these resins, so that will be created only when this mold or a fungi called the Phyllophora parasitica infects that wood. So once the fungus infects the wood, so after that in the course of recovery it will release the resin, and that resin wood, so that becomes more fragrant. So this is how the agarwood is formed, and this wood, but obvious, it is used to make perfumes. So the name Agartala came from this agarwood. So these are some of the facts. Then come to the last part. Friends, as Mahatma Gandhiji famously says, so there is everything for a man's need on this earth, but nothing for a man's greed. And so in that case, we should also remember that. So along with an economically rich India, and along with a defensively powerful India, and along with a technologically advanced India, so there is also a clean India, beautiful India, and a very lushy green India. So let's all strive to make India such a very place. So we'll do it. All the very best. Good luck, friends.